Live, Laugh, Larceny discusses true petty crimes that may be disturbing to some.
Or could be easy listening to all you psychopaths out there.
All stories are based on actual events, but details may vary.
Listener discretion is not advised.
Live,
Laugh,
Larceny. Welcome to Live, Laugh, Larceny, the one-time procrastinating helped a situation. This is Trevin.
And I'm Amanda. We are both really good at procrastinating. So that was a good intro for us.
Thank you. I feel like I am very good at procrastinating. This was actually inspired by a Black Friday purchase I made.
Oh.
My therapist had told me about this shiatsu massage belt thing. I want to work on doing better self-care stuff. And she told me to get it. Well, it was originally $80. And I was like, I'm not going to get it. And then as it was getting a little closer, it was down to $60.
Ooh.
So then we had a session. I was like, oh, I should get this. Then she said, you really should. So I went back one more time and it was $35.
Whoa.
Yeah. So procrastinating helped me a ton.
Oh my God. One for procrastination, everyone. Trevin.
Yes.
What is your actual dreadful dilemma this week?
I have an issue.
Okay.
I tend to break out into song around the home.
Okay.
And a lot of times it is completely off the top of my head. You know, I'm just riffing with it. Because when you've got a lot of ideas, you just got to let them flow through you sometimes. You know, sometimes the best ideas will come out that way. So here I am, and I'm going to try to do my best impression of what I was singing. Okay, Emily was in doing cookie work, and I was just cooking.
Okay.
So I was going, meatball sandwiches, Mabel and I love meatball sandwiches. When I was a toilet man, I do what a toilet man can.
What?
So this is how I just kind of let it roll.
Okay. Where did the toilet man come from?
Well, like I said, you just got to let the ideas come in and go out and just follow their, just go with it, whimsy.
I don't know if I ever go that far as a person that also is prone to breaking out into song all the time. I've never called myself a toilet man, but everyone's different.
Yeah, it was just like a musical going on in my head. And the toilet man was the character I was portraying in that scene. But the problem is, after I had finished that, I turned around and I did not pay attention that it was actually a warm day that day, and Emily was enjoying herself and had the back door wide open. So the whole neighborhood heard the Ballad of the Toilet Man.
No.
And the fact that Mabel and I love meatball sandwiches.
And were you actually about to eat a meatball sandwich?
No.
Okay, this is where I draw the line.
Yeah, none of it made sense to anything that was going on.
Okay.
Besides Mabel, she was there.
Thank God for that. I at least thought that you were going to actually eat a meatball sub, and then the toilet man just kind of came out of nowhere.
And I think I was doing dishes or I was prepping my lunches, which my lunch would have been broccoli, rice, and buffalo chicken. So no meatball sandwiches.
Wow. Yeah, I'm all about it, Trevin. I can't really hate on you for it. I sing about crazy things all the time. I do think, maybe if a neighbor heard that, they'd be like, that guy is a little bit weird. But
yeah, people may not get candy at my house next Halloween.
It's so freaking weird that you brought this up this week, but Jordan, my husband, and I have noticed that if we sing talk to each other, and I'm not a therapist, okay?
No.
I'm not a therapist, but in our experience, limited experience, sometimes if you sing talk to each other, and it's like something that, depending on your tone of voice, could upset someone, like, come on, don't put a towel there on the bed or whatever, but instead you sing it, it comes off a lot better, guys. We've been doing a lot of sing talking to each other.
Your hairbrush doesn't go next to the oven.
Get that shit out of here. I'm trying to cook. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if it's a little bit of a poke, you're singing it, so it's happier.
And then can at least pretend you live in the world that you really want to live in.
Exactly.
A musical world.
Oh my God. I also have a dreadful dilemma this week. And I'm curious if this dreadful dilemma is something that has been affecting you as well. So definitely let me know. And not only you, I'm curious if this is something that's going on other places other than Kansas City, Missouri, in the US of A. Okay. Like, I want to know what everyone else is dealing with right now. But my dreadful dilemma is that our electric company, Evergy, has been doing the whole peak hours thing, where our example from 4 to 8 p.m., it is peak hour time. So if you are using your electricity, it's way more expensive during those peak hours.
Yeah, it's a time-based billing system where you have to actually sign up for a plan where you almost say like, oh, I think I use electricity more at around, 8:30 p.m., and then if you say that, you have to decide to always be that way. Or anytime you do use the electricity at the time you say you don't, it's like quadruple the price.
Dude, it's crazy and dumb and whack. And there were no good things for us to choose.
Yeah.
They all suck. So 4 to 8, we've been running around like peak hours. And like the kids know it now. We just put up our Christmas tree recently and it's really sad.
Oh, God.
Because I want all that stuff lit up at that time. But the dreadful part, other than it being really pricey and dumb, is that Lila and Jordan and I were all running around like a siren is going off in our home, like, peak hours, turn off all the extra lights. One of the first times it happened, my littlest one, Winnie, she thought that it was an emergency, like a natural disaster had occurred or something. So it kind of freaked her out. But now she knows we're just yelling peak hours, because my kids leave every light on in the house.
Well, I think giving your money to the man is a national emergency. So
Right?
she's probably right for being worried.
So, Trevin, today we're going to do a game of Would You Rather.
Would you rather?
We are, and I have a would you rather that might leave you wondering.
Oh, God, they usually do.
Would you rather have your partner fall in love and leave you for someone you feel inferior to, or a cheap and hideous blow-up doll?
So either option is your partner has been cheating on you and is leaving you.
Correct.
But the option A is that it's a woman that I feel inferior to, or option B, a blow-up doll.
Yeah, so basically this breaks down to which emotion bothers you worse. A person that, let's just say, it's a person you always kind of were jealous of, and they had everything that you wish you ever had. They have my better face, they have a better this than me, I just wish I had their life. Then if your husband were to leave you for that person, you'd be like, I knew it, I never was good enough. But what if your husband had been cheating on you and left you for a disgusting old cheap-ass blow-up doll? Then you're just like, am I not better than this hunk of shit?
Yeah.
So which emotion can you handle better? What would make you sleep better at night?
Neither. I'm just going to say that first and foremost, which that just means the would you rather is a good one. They should both suck, really. But honestly, I think that personally for me, I would have an easier time explaining things to not only myself, but to my kids, my friends, my family. If I could say, listen, he left me for this like much hotter, much more together, much more talented person. I'm pissed. I am pissed. I'm jealous. I feel horrible about myself. At least that's something that I can explain to all of us. If not, I just can't picture myself being like, listen, girls, daddy left us for a blow-up doll. And yeah, she might be coming to Thanksgiving. What?
At least you know she won't start the fight.
What about you, Trevin?
That's very funny. Again, we said this like a week or two ago. I love our dynamic because we both think of such different things from what the other person would think about.
Right.
I'm always like something weird about death, and you're always something weird about family that I don't always think about.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about what that would be like to explain to your kids. To me, I was just thinking about what would make me feel worse about myself as a person. If it was a person that I just always kind of felt that I wish I had their life, I'm like, great, that just proves my point even further. Or if somebody left you for an old dirty blow-up doll and you're just like, shoot, I can't even compete with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which one would affect me more? And I honestly never decided on my own. But at least the blow up doll would be way funnier.
Because yes, option A, people would be able to grasp it. Even myself included would be able to logically grasp it. But I'm not saying that wouldn't eat me up and tear me up inside. Oh my God, that would be the worst thing in the universe, Trevin. But you know what would be worse than that? Having to tell everyone that he left our family for a doll.
That's a good point. Now that you say that, it would also really hurt to tell somebody like, oh yeah, he left me for hot Susan, and then have your own friends look at you and be like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Just subtly kind of make that gesture of like, oh, you can see why too.
Hot Susan better step off, okay? I am not trying to do that. Okay, Trevin, I also have a would you rather for you.
Okay.
Would you rather stub your toe each and every day or get a paper cut each and every day?
Oh no.
I know. Again, they both suck.
They do both suck. I used to stub my toe a lot as a kid and a teen.
Yeah.
I don't really seem to do that as much as an adult, surprisingly. But paper cuts do make me very upset. If it's just a light stubbing, I have always had a tendency of being in a hurry where I'm walking or I stub it so hard that thing's throbbing for a week.
Totally.
So I would like have a permanent limp if I was stubbing my toe every day.
Yeah, like that aggressively. Yeah.
And honestly, you can look like a badass with a Band-Aid. You put a Band-Aid on, you're just like, oh yeah, I fight. So if I just get a lot of paper cut Band-Aids, oh yeah.
Really? So you went with the paper cut?
I'll go with the paper cuts.
Oh my God. See, I am so the opposite. And I'm the same. I have stubbed my toe so many times in my life. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. But I feel like I think I could handle that better than a paper cut. It's so small, yet so intense and so burny and no. And I do things with my hands all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I do too, but
I don't know.
I mean, I guess you didn't say the paper cut has to be on your fingertips, right?
Oh, that's true. I didn't.
I'd just be paper cutting my arm or something.
I don't know. They still hurt so bad.
They do hurt bad, but yeah, just the throbbing lastingness of the toe, I think would affect my workouts.
You're right, too. I can see both sides.
Yeah.
Well, something else I'd like to see a little more of is some advertising.
Please. Hey everyone, I'm about to play a trailer for our friend Ashley's podcast, That's So Fucked Up. If you love the weird and bizarre facts we share, you'll love this show. Help support more independent pods by giving her show a follow.
This is That's So Fucked Up, a podcast about cults, murder, and other fucked up stuff. Like really, really fucked up stuff. He tore out her heart, tied it to a rope, and hung it on the wall.
Fucking sharks ate Mark under the dinghy.
After his dad dies, he fucking marries all his dad's wives.
Oh, yeah.
He like marries all his stepmoms.
I'm your host, Ashley Love Richards. Find That's So Fucked Up anywhere you listen to podcasts.
That's fucked up.
And we are back.
Hi.
It's my week, and we've reached story time.
The best time of the year. Or the week, I guess.
Yes, leading up to the best time of the year.
Wink, wink, Santa baby.
So last week, I had the twist of the proposal.
Yes,
and
God.
the love. This week, we will not be spreading the love. I'm going to be telling you a story that starts where every good love story ends. An abysmal, devastating divorce.
Oh my God. Thank goodness this is not around Valentine's Day.
Or just a breakup, either way.
Okay.
I'm just saying, if you thought that I had turned over a new leaf and it was all love stories from here on, think again, Buster.
Oh, damn.
And here we go. They say that breaking up is hard to do. And from my past experiences as an emo boy, I can definitely agree. It's so interesting to me. Every relationship dynamic and person is different, leading to very different breakups. Some breakups happen silently, seemingly overnight, like a predatory congressional bill, while others happen loudly and for the world to see.
This'll teach you to kiss my sister.
There are the toxic relationships that turn a breakup into a multi-year ordeal, and there are the amicable decisions made by two smart adults who just aren't feeling it. I don't love you.
Let's Split up.
Breakups tend to take aspects of ourselves and amplify them. Do you have abandonment issues? Letting go may be the hardest thing you do. Are you a driven person who knows your lazy partner has great potential? Then you may also have a hard time letting go, realizing it's no longer your job to help them.
I hope you still bathe when I'm gone.
The dissolving of these partnerships are heartbreaking in the most symbolic of ways. It's the end of a dream. Your hazy version of how you expect the future to be has just gotten hazier as the other person no longer fits in your vision. But it's how we respond to these breakups that truly define us. For some, a breakup is a chance to rise from the ashes, like a great and powerful phoenix. You find the confidence to buy your first pair of mom jeans, color your hair, and begin to work on the thing you've always wanted. The partner who expected to be cared for by that person, on the other hand, will take this breakup time to continue being sad and not look inward, hoping someone else will come along and fix their problems. Of course, there are millions of variations of breakup. I was the phoenix at my most formidable breakup, although maybe not as elegant. I was more like a goose that accidentally got too close to a bonfire. Sure, I did lose about 40 pounds and create my own solo album that encapsulated everything I felt during a destructive relationship, but I had some very low points during that time too. I didn't lose that weight in a healthy way. I went through a very cringy and desperate phase of dating, and I once drank a whole fifth of maple syrup flavored vodka and woke up behind a Lowe's. It was all tears, beers, and bad decisions. But hey, progress doesn't always mean that you're going to go in the right direction 100% of the time. Some people just take a little longer before recognizing the error of their ways. It takes repeating a situation multiple times before realizing your own patterns. Whether it takes you 3 months or 5 years, figuring yourself out and finding what you really need is worth the work. Today's story will begin at the end of a relationship and show you how there are very different ways of handling a breakup. Because sometimes, separation is criminal. Piles of used tissues covered Candace's coffee table, holding copious amounts of tears, snot, and bad memories.
I guess I'll just be a single cat lady forever.
She captioned her oddly sexy crying selfie before posting it on Instagram. Once the thirsty guys started commenting, Candace turned on Taylor Swift's Back to December and began to sob. Welcome to Candace's breakup. It had been a very emotional day, but this was the healthiest way Candace knew how to deal. Her entire schedule had been cleared to allow any mourning necessary for her dearly departed 5-month relationship. She cried, set small fires, played Lifetime movies on a loop, and ate an entire pint of Ben & Jerry's, stopping to cry at the irony of the flavor she chose.
When will I get my chubby hubby?
The plan was to get all the negativity out of her system and then begin the process of healing. It was a 24-hour block party of purging. She looked back at her time with Carl, remembering how many red flags she excused away with her own rationalizing. There was the time he gave her the silent treatment after he lost a game of Call of Duty, and the way he always wanted her to compliment his truck during sex.
Tell me about the stow and go seating.
Not to mention all the lies. Carl had a tendency to lie, and during their short 5 months together, it was already starting to catch up with him. It all started with his dating profile, saying he was a strictly social drinker, even though his hands seemed to permanently have a Mike's Hard Lemonade in it. When Candace tried to point this out, Carl always said that he was currently signed into social media, thus making it a social drink. At first, Candace thought of it as a fun personality quirk. She would brag to her friends about how optimistic her new boyfriend is, since he literally viewed every hour as happy hour. But the lies quickly declined from his closeted alcoholism to less cute things, like where he was the night before. This is what would eventually lead to the emotional day Candace was having now. Carl would go full days without responding to texts, only to show up covered in glitter and have an ever-changing story of what he had been up to. One second, he would say he and his friend Marty drunkenly broke into a glitter factory. And the next, he would completely deny the existence of the glitter on his crotch altogether. Candace had a hard time finding the truth in this new life with Carl. 5 months was Candace's limit for the gaslighting and random acts of anger. She replayed her last encounter with Carl, begging him to turn down the Joe Rogan podcast so they could have a serious discussion. His manly wails still echoed in her head, followed by the sound of him crushing his Mike's Hard can. She could still hear the last thing he ever said to her before she walked away for good.
I'll get my revenge for what you've done to me.
Weeks had passed, and Candace was on the right track of healing. She created art again, hung out with friends she hadn't seen in a while, and even got into therapy, hoping to figure out why she felt so drawn to man babies with big trucks. Things were looking up, but she knew this was not going to be an overnight fix. She remained positive and patient with herself. Candace returned from her jog around the neighborhood, grabbed a towel for her sweaty hair, and sat down to check her emails. She slowly scrolled the inbox to see all the different junk mail one gets in 2012. Notification emails from Facebook, a receipt for an $8 subscription to Netflix, and the Gangnam Style music video sent from her friend Amber.
Whoa. This is not the song.
This was all pretty normal for her inbox, but below all of those was a very peculiar email that she had never seen before. Directly from sender cellpals.com was an email with a subject line that read, "One Nut Tony wants to connect." Unsure of what any of this means, Candace clicked on the email and began to read. Dearest Candace, I hope this finds you well. As I sit in this jail cell, thinking of all the mistakes I've made in my past, I know that I've become a more stable man. My monthly reading goal is up to 12 books. I've recently recorded a new PR on my bench press, and my cellmate says that my mop job on the floor is good enough to eat off of. I want to thank you for checking out my profile and giving me this line of communication. Who knows which of the many crimes I've been related to put me in here this time, but I can tell you that if you give me a chance, you're going to get a good and rehabilitated man when I get out of here. Think of this jail cell as a cocoon. I entered this prison as one nutted caterpillar without direction. If you give me this chance, I promise you will see me as a butterfly of a man with big beautiful wings and one nut that can easily do the job of two. I'll be anxiously awaiting your reply. One Nut Tony. P.S. My prisoner number is 6969 if you want to call me anytime between the hours of 1 and 2 p.m. Candace's eyes widened as she went on an emotional ride through One Nut Tony's email. This guy has clearly lived a storied life, and it really takes some ball to email someone out of the blue like this. But that didn't change the fact that Candace had a strict, no answering unsolicited emails rule. She took her mouse and dropped the beautiful words of One Nut Tony directly into her recycling bin. The rest of the night was quiet for Candace. She worked on a healthy meal, did some light journaling, and put on an exfoliating face mask. The more she enjoyed the calm side of single life, she thought about Tony and the life he must be living behind bars. How did he get her email? Why her? Questions related to the encounter played through her head until she returned back to her computer. She logged into her AOL inbox and went to dig for more clues behind this email. But before she could click into her recycling bin, she noticed another email from cellpals.com. This time the subject line read, "Hello from Timothy. I'm on fire." Candace felt a bit more uneasy towards this email, but curiosity eventually got the best of her as she clicked open. "Hello, my darling. I saw your picture, and you've got me so hot. In fact, I'm on fire. I'm on fire! If I wore nothing but a creepy mask, would you pour milk all over my naked body? It doesn't have to be in Walmart like last time, but if you wear a blue vest and tell me to come again after we're done, I'll be yours for life. 2% milk, 100% yours. Timothy Smith." This email was more bizarre than the last. So much so, in fact, it made Candace completely forget about the first email she was logging in to read.
What is happening?
She said out loud to herself as she opened up a new browser and went to cellpals.com. As the basic page quickly opened, she was greeted by a menu of different shades of blue, with options like female inmates, male inmates, and find an inmate.
My God,
She said to herself.
it's a dating website for criminals.
She racked her head on the possibilities. Did her friends decide to be proactive and sign her up? Or was this something more sinister? Shaking in fear of what criminal may contact her next, the voice of the AOL man blared from her speakers.
You've got mail.
Alerting her of a new email. Candace gulped as she clicked the tab to AOL. What she saw wasn't another email from Cell Pals, but an email from her Aunt Kathy. The tenseness Candace felt began to fade, knowing it was just a friendly email from her aunt. She lowered her shoulders and clicked on the subjectless email, excited to see what kooky Aunt Kathy was up to. Expecting to see a wall of unpunctuated writing from her weird aunt, Candace opened the shortest email she had ever opened to find 2 words she will never forget.
You bitch!
She She scrambled, trying to imagine such mean words coming from her aunt.
First these weird criminal emails, now my aunt hates me?
She yelled to her empty room.
I've been taking care of myself and trying to make positive changes. Why is the world treating me like this?
In the summer of 2012, an unnamed Houston woman contacted police, stating that she had begun receiving unwanted emails from inmates all over the country, including her home state of Texas. In each email, the prisoner stated that they had come across her profile on a pen pal and dating website for detainees. During this time, the victim's aunt had also reached out to a profile she believed belonged to the victim. When messaging the profile to see if it was still active, the aunt received a message that read,
Yes, this account is still very much active, thank you very much. And you can go fuck off now. I will now add you to my block list where you cannot bother me anymore.
Upon further investigation, police found 30-year-old Carl Wayne McGraw Jr. had hacked into her email, set up a profile on a prisoner dating website, and create a fake profile all in her name. When given the name of the person behind this, the victim told police she had dated McGraw for about 5 months, but ended the relationship when she began to catch him in multiple lies. Carl Wayne McGraw Jr. was arrested and charged with online impersonation. His punishment was not made known, but according to Texas attorney's website, kevinbennettlaw.com, creating a web page on a social networking site or messaging as another person on a social networking or other type of website is a third-degree felony. The statutory penalties for a third-degree felony include up to 10 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. Investigators also said that during their analysis, another woman had reached out to the victim, saying she too had dated McGraw and was a victim of one of his online impersonation schemes. No matter what your relationship status is, whether it be dating, married, single, or young spinster, I think we can all connect this story to something we've experienced. There's nothing more petty than dating, especially when you're immature. If you can't be honest with yourself, or take a look in the mirror from time to time, you're doomed to repeat mistakes. And let me tell you, there's nothing more frustrating than finding yourself in the exact place you're trying to avoid. But hey, that's the fun part of life. You may find yourself in a similar issue that you put yourself in before, but the second you open your eyes to the signs that brought you there, nothing is more appreciated than the time you finally break free. Whether you're a selfish dick who feeds off other people in relationships, or you're desperately wanting love to work with the wrong people, the act of going through a breakup is symbolic. The unhealthy part of your brain wants to view it like an unsaved document that accidentally closes, with all of your hard work lost. But it's up to you to take the experiences gained from that relationship and put it towards your next romantic venture. Some lucky people can learn quickly and figure out what they want in time for relationship number 2, while some others may take a couple decades and find happiness with their third marriage. There's no right or wrong way to experience life, love, and loss, but it would probably be best if you didn't purposely try to hurt the people it didn't work with. So if you're in a place where romance feels hopeless, put on some Phoebe Bridgers, pour yourself a little wine, and take care of you. After all, that's the only person you can truly control, and it feels a lot better when you can learn to like that person, instead of finding a way to love someone who makes you feel terrible. So free yourself with the truth, because in this day and age, you don't need to sign up for cellpals.com to feel imprisoned in someone else's idea of love.
Damn, that got deep, Trevin. Cell Pals?
Cell Pals.
Is that a real website with the real blue home screen? And
Yep.
you went to it and everything?
Yeah, I didn't do too much searching through it. The website looks super poorly made. It almost looks like a placeholder website, but apparently that's the same website the actual dude used.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't make Cell Pals up. I would have come up with a much funnier name for that.
Right. I was just making sure because I was like, is that legitimate? Because I know when you did your Rent a Hitman, you went to the site and you looked at it and everything. I love that so much. Oh my God.
I've never heard of that kind of revenge on an ex, signing up for a prison dating site. That's interesting.
I've never heard, I guess, of exactly that either. I've heard a lot of stories where crazy exes will take their ex's address or their phone number and they put them on Craigslist or something saying like,
For a
oh,
good
I want
time
an
or
orgy
something.
or whatever. Yeah. I've heard of that, but this is a really specific, weird one.
Yeah, he used her email, made a fake Facebook, and he reached out and put her on the Cell Pals thing. Also, I guess I forgot to put this in the recap. The other ex that showed up that said that she was also a victim of his,
Yeah.
apparently he had actually doxed her and put like her actual phone number and addresses on websites and stuff.
Ew, this dude is such a creep.
When you see the mugshot, he looks like such a creep.
And come on, dude. You're with this person 5 months, you said? Get on with your idiot self.
In that quote, too, he said to the aunt, if you were impersonating somebody on Facebook, wouldn't you just not say anything? You obviously have some anger issues or something if you're impersonating somebody and you're cursing out their aunt.
Right.
That's going to get you caught.
I know. So was that actually true that the aunt emailed back?
No.
Or the aunt probably caught on, right?
The aunt probably caught on. I think the aunt probably just reached out and was like, I don't know. I didn't want to add extra scenes to the story.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
And I thought it'd be funny just to have a you bitch email. But it was either something where the aunt told the mom or she had just like come forward to her about it, like, why are you being mean? Sort of thing.
Oh my God.
But yeah, all the emails were made up by me. I just thought a prisoner dating website would have been such a fun place to do like a greatest hits and kind of bring up some old characters.
Oh, that was so funny when you were talking about the 2% milk. 100%
yours.
Yeah. I was dying. The PS 6969. I mean, you were
Yeah.
just asking for trouble. But no, I loved that. And then when you said that it took real ball and you were talking about the classic character One Nut Tony that we love to include in the stories, that was just so damn funny. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's going to bring a lot of people laughs, Trevin.
Thank you. I hope so.
What a good one. You know, I'm not 100% sure on connections.
Okay.
I might need your help on this one. Or maybe it'll come to me. We'll see.
Well, I feel prepared to find it.
Also, really the only thing I want to say before I jump into my story is that it is a story from the news and it does involve 3 different male characters. And at first I thought, okay, maybe I'll just give Trevin all of this one's lines and have him be one. I thought about doing that just because I'm so bad at guy voices, but I'm going to take the challenge on and I think I can do it.
You're going to be 3 different men?
I'm going to try and do it.
Oh my God.
So here we go. Basic interactions between human beings can be hard to manage. This is particularly true when you start things off with a bad first impression. Maybe you accidentally call your girlfriend's father Daddy at your first meal together.
Great meal, Daddy. I mean, Mr. Coleman, sir.
Or perhaps you passed major gas during your first date.
Pardon me.
No matter the horrifying initial interactions you've had, I guarantee today's petty crime puts them all to shame. This story is about 3 men who made getting off on the wrong foot criminal. Billy, Bobby, and Boris were the 3 best friends that nobody else wanted, living in Huancayo, Peru in 2023. Each of the young men struggled with forming fast friendships for various reasons. Billy was quick to start fights.
What'd you say to me?
Bobby was eager to share all of his personal information.
I often eat ice cream in the bath while sobbing.
And Boris was just a boring asshole.
Nah.
By default, they became each other's best friends. They were an odd crew with not much in common, spending most of their time standing together in silence, judging everyone else who misunderstood them. But when the trio did decide to communicate, they would discuss money or sneakers. Billy would share stories of fights he got into while wearing his favorite pair of Nikes.
I kicked my very first ass in these shoes.
Bobby would overshare tales from the past and his freshest kicks.
I lost my virginity wearing nothing but my Air Jordans.
And Boris always wore his classic black and white Adidas, with his arms crossed and an unimpressed look on his face.
Meh.
After a while of enduring awkward hangouts at Bobby's house, the socially inept crew thought of other ways to spend their free time. Billy suggested creating a fight club. Bobby proposed an intimate sleepover, while Boris sat back, thinking to himself before stating,
Meh. Let's go rob that shoe store down the road.
Shocked to hear a full sentence come out of Boris's mouth, the 2 other men immediately agreed. The three besties were thrilled to pick out some name brand shoes for free. Plus, they planned to sell whatever they didn't want, leaving them with nothing but profit. In the dark hours before the crack of dawn, the unexpected accomplices drove down the street to a well-known sneaker store. Examining the front door, they noticed the large padlock attached.
Stand back, you wussies!
Billy barked at the other boys. He balanced his weight onto just one of his Nikes and kicked with the other. After 3 aggressive kicks, the padlock broke, allowing them to walk right into the store. Once inside, the men were stunned by the massive assortment of sneakers before them. Whoa. Billy felt a sense of peace wash over him. Bobby had a rush of every emotion course through his body. And Boris's expression went from a stink face to a glimmer of hope. Meh. Not only were there countless boxes of their favorite brands, but there were also stylish Pumas, Converse, and even the ultra-comfy New Balance sneakers. The crew hurried into the back of the store, where all of the footwear was stored. Metal shelves were packed to the brim with boxes and boxes of shoes. In a corner of the back room was a tricycle. Billy grabbed the handlebars and wheeled it towards the other 2 men.
Load 'em up, you sissy boys!
Billy demanded as he began stacking boxes onto the random tricycle. The 3 thieves stacked as many boxes as they could and wheeled them outside to their real vehicle. After multiple trips, they had filled their escape transport to the brim with sneaker boxes and squeezed in themselves. As they peeled off down the road, the men giggled as they inhaled the new shoe scent. They could hardly wait to take a closer look at their loot. They didn't have to muster up too much patience, however, as they quickly arrived back at Bobby's house and unloaded the stolen boxes.
All right, men.
Billy announced as he sat down the final box.
Let's open these up.
Like 3 greedy pirates, the men gathered around their cardboard treasure boxes, each choosing their own.
1, 2, 3.
Bobby shouted excitedly as they each tore open their shoe boxes. But it wasn't a pristine new pair of sneakers that they discovered. Instead, each box contained a single shoe.
These are all for the right foot!
In early May of 2023, 3 unidentified men broke into an unnamed shoe shop in Huancayo, Peru. The break-in occurred at 3:30 a.m. on a Sunday morning, with the thieves entering the front door by breaking the padlock after their 3rd attempt. Inside, they used a tricycle to stack the shoe boxes and transport them outside. In total, the men took around 200 boxes, worth 50,000 Peruvian soles, or 13,400 American dollars. However, what the thieves most likely didn't know at the time was that they had stolen 200 right-footed shoes, leaving their left-footed counterparts back at the shop. Local police chief Edwin Diaz told Peruvian media,
"We have gathered evidence at the scene. The unusual thing about this robbery is that shoes from only the right foot have been stolen. With the footage and the fingerprints, we'll be able to locate those individuals."
In my research, there have been no further updates given online. Wow. Those petty criminals really took getting off on the wrong foot to a whole other level. It's stories like this that should remind us all just how important putting your best foot forward is. Because if you're anything like these petty sneakerheads, your worst foot may be missing a shoe.
Sneakerheads.
Isn't that a thing that people say?
That is a thing. I've always wondered this, and I've never taken the time to look it up. But I know that Patrick Mahomes said it in one of those State Farm commercials.
Oh, was it?
And he
Okay,
was
yeah.
like undercover trying to get something from Jake from State Farm. And he said, yeah, I'm just a sneakerhead. And he made a face like, what did I just say? I always read that as him like saying something off the top of his head.
Oh.
So I was like, did that catch on from there? Or was that always been a saying? So I really don't know.
I feel like I thought it was just a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Is that what the kids are saying?
Right in, kids.
Tell us, children. So obviously, I don't know the names of these criminals. I don't know if they were caught at all.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what'd you think of that one, Trevin?
Okay, so why were there only one shoe in each box? Is it because they were for display and the other ones were out?
That is how I took it. There were a couple mysteries that I had to try to write around them and try and make sense of them, that being the main one, because I thought surely just one little tiny sentence in one article would tell me why that was, and they could say, oh, it was because they just put one out, blah, blah, blah. But there wasn't. What I did gather, though, is that I guess it is kind of a more common crime in that area to steal sneakers and then to resell them. A lot of people were like, oh, that's probably what they were doing, but joke's on them. They only got the one shoe. So I'm just assuming that maybe if this is a more well-known thing that's happening, especially during that time, maybe they were only putting the one shoe out and keeping the other shoe on display or the other shoe in the back. I don't know.
Yeah, see, that's what I was wondering. You told me how many they stole. I was like, oh, shit. If they only would have stole, like maybe 2 for each of them or something, I would have been like, okay, yeah, they just grabbed display ones.
Mm-hmm.
But when you tell me that it's a very common thing in the area, it makes me think that they have some sort of a system to where no 2 shoes are ever together until you buy them. And then if that's true, I want to know about that because that's interesting.
It would be interesting. And the reason why I couldn't just say they only took the display ones is because a lot of the pictures that I saw online were the shoes in the back.
Right.
And they found a tricycle in the back randomly, and I had to fit that into the story too. That was the second mystery, is that I was never told that they had a getaway car. In a lot of the articles, it was just kind of stated that there was a tricycle in the shoe store and that they were using it to transport them. But it was kind of vague. Surely they didn't transport 200 shoes.
Right.
So in my mind, I just, again, connected the dots that they must have just put it in a vehicle, and I don't know.
Shoe stores need to think twice about leaving tricycles around, I guess.
It's really convenient for thieves to use, apparently. So, yeah, noted.
It makes me think of back in the days of Blockbuster, where they would have the box up for the movie and they would have like a thing behind it and you'd have to pull that out and take that to the front, and then they would take that and go through a drawer and then they would put the actual tape in the box.
Yes.
That's kind of what I feel like they're doing with shoes or something like that.
Yes. There's got to be, right?
Yeah, it's just like if you want to steal it, you can only get one shoe. You have to bring me the other shoe. And
Yeah. Somebody was tweeting about it and they were like, oh, I remember back in the day when I used to steal shoes and try and resell them and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, this must be a thing.
it's just a regular pastime thing to do.
I don't know. And apparently they left their fingerprints everywhere. So the guy was like, we will catch them. Of course, no update online, but come on.
When you told me like a week ago or whatever, you said, hey, dibs on 3 unnamed guys from Peru. I had a story. I've been holding on to one for a while that I swear was 3 unknown guys from Peru. And I was like, she got to it before me. That's fine. I was like, I'm not feeling inspired for it anyway. And then when you started telling us, for the longest time, it's like when you think you're taking a drink of water and it's somebody's Coke or something, it really catches you off guard. I'm like, where's the jokes that lead to the thing I'm waiting for? So I actually went into this thinking I knew exactly what you were going to say, and I did not.
Oh my God, that is so weird. You're going to have to re-look at that one and make sure that's actually where it was.
Yeah.
Because clearly I didn't take it, so it's still up for grabs. That is so funny. I don't even know what made me find this crime. It was just a weird one. I mean, 200 of just a right foot. That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, that's too many for it to be a coincidence.
Like, you should have peeked in at least one box out of 200. Oh, I don't know if I should do this right now, But my criminal that I just talked about last week, the turkey lady in the turkey costume, I found another crime that she was charged with recently. And it was that she was charged with trespassing for going on her ex's property when he did not want her there. I don't know if there was a restraining order or what, but all charges were dropped. But I did find another article about her because I was looking her up again to post a picture today. I saw that and I was like, oh my God, this turkey woman is out here gobbling up loads of crimes, not just one. I wish I would have known that, but I wanted to share that. Anytime I find an update of any sort of little bit, I'm like, ooh, we better say that because I did not see that before and I wanted to let everyone know she is a petty turkey. Connections, Trevin? Can you think of anything that maybe I'm not?
No, all I can really think of is what we had stopped and both pointed out, that I had said sometimes separation is criminal. And then you said, to transition in, you had said,
they're going to make getting off on the wrong foot criminal.
Yeah, so we both went down the criminal path, I suppose.
I mean, I guess. The crimes are just so different this week. I don't know. It might be one of those where we look back on, like we were just talking about today, how the Thanksgiving one, we both randomly talked about how they woke up in the morning and we gave them this whole day-long thing. I don't know. This might be one for the listeners again.
Yeah, let us know. I'm plumb out of ideas on that one.
I know. We're in the middle of the holidays, people. Okay?
Yeah, this is actually the start of my little Thanksgiving break, so
yes.
about to go see a movie.
Just remember, everyone, no matter the crime, big or small, in the end, we're all doomed.
Doomed to do the thing you do when it's bad that you're doing it.
What?
You know what I'm saying?
Bye.
See ya.
Peak hours! Peak hours! Thanks for leaving us on anyways, guys. We appreciate you listening to our show.
And do you make up weird songs and sing to your dog so your whole neighborhood can hear? Post them on social media. Maybe you'll go viral. And follow us there too. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or Threads. Live, Laugh, Larceny.
And do you have a vengeful ex? Send us your petty crime stories. I know you've got them. livelaughlarceny@gmail.com.
And rate us 5 stars wherever you rate podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Good Pods. And make a profile for your blow-up doll partner and give us 5 stars with that one too. P.S. My prisoner number is 6969 if you want to call me anytime between the hours of 1 and 2 p.m.
Why? Why did you not only do that to me, but to yourself?
Right.
Oh, you were just trying to demolish us all.